This is Lisa Henderson, your host for Daring Parenting. You can visit us at daringparenting.com. Things have changed a little bit with the COVID-19 coronavirus. And one of the things I wanted to do was share with parents what seems to be working and maybe pick up some tips along the way. My guest today is Leah Ruth, who, in full disclosure, is my daughter. And everybody is coping with this COVID-19 virus in different ways. And Leah is very clever and a single mom. And so I wanted to talk to her and find out some of the things she's doing. So welcome, Leah.
Hi, thank you.
You can call me Mom, it's all right. Leah, we've been in this for just a few days. Tell me, what was your first thought when you found out your son was going to be out of school and you were going to be working from home for 2 weeks?
You know, what my first thoughts were, excitement that I get to spend more time with my son, but also sort of instant panic of am I going to manage doing both work and essentially homeschooling? But I got some inside tips sort of from, friends who know teachers. And so I wasn't completely caught off guard when it first happened, but it's been a scramble to figure it out.
So what were some of the tips you got? What have you instituted?
So I got some insider tips that it was happening. And then after that, I was, I'm sure everyone has seen it, this schedule for kids on when to do academic time, when to have creative time and quiet time, different schedule blocks. So what I've ended up doing is, for the first day, we started with the schedule that was provided through the internet and through my friends. And then I noticed that didn't really work well with my meeting schedule, because my meetings are a little bit more fixed, whereas Sawyer's schedule is a little more flexible. So I took the information we had from the one side where it was, using creative time, but putting it in the afternoon rather in the morning. Because if I had to monitor, like, we go on a daily walk, he's got outside time that I try to participate in. So those are kind of the different tools. And then every day now, the flexible schedule, I've written it on a whiteboard in his room, as well as a piece of paper for me. So I know, like, okay, now it's creative time. So he can do Legos or drawing or, puzzles, reading. And then outside time, we've gone on walks and taken different paths in the neighborhood, and just to see what's out there. And that's kind of the exciting part for me, because I get to see other humans during the day at that point.
How has it been? Because I know you are an extrovert and you are surrounded by people at work and you have a very busy social schedule. What is it like for you not seeing other humans except crossing in the neighborhood besides your child?
It's not easy. It's pretty rough right now. A lot of the energy that I get, because I'm an extrovert, the energy comes from other people. So, normally if I at work want to take a nap at 2:00, I sort of just go and stand up and talk to a coworker for a little bit, get another round of energy, and then get back to it. And here at 2:00 today, I was like, oh, wow, my couch is right there. I could take a nap. I have not taken a nap. I've been in video calls, video conference meetings all day, pretty much, which does help me feel a little bit connected. And it's sort of fun to see everyone in their own habitats, but I'm definitely struggling with that. Tonight, I am hosting digital trivia. I normally host trivia at a restaurant in Buckhead on Wednesday nights, so I get some fun human interaction from that, and I am doing it online.
So it sounds like you've gotten very creative.
Yeah, I mean, it's only been a few days, and I was talking with a coworker earlier that it's only been a few days and he didn't anticipate it being this hard. I did anticipate it being this hard, and I imagine that it will get easier because it will become the new normal. But yeah, I've gotten creative. We'll see how digital trivia goes. If it goes really well, I'll do it again next week. There's someone from work who is holding a happy hour where everyone dials in from their homes, and I think someone is quitting, and so we like to do happy hours for people who are leaving or for new hires, and so someone is hosting that. So yeah, people are definitely getting really creative with how they spend their time. My company has been very understanding of like, if your kids are in the image or your pets. So we've had people sending photos of their animals over the internet, like just the cats like crawling in the frame while they're doing a meeting. And so, yeah, so there's, I saw somebody today did a meeting from their car because their kids are pretty loud. So there's just, yeah, we're definitely, as far as work is concerned, we're getting really creative. I'm lucky I have one kid instead of multiple. And because he's an only child, he's very good at playing with himself. So if that's kind of what it calls for, and sometimes I want to hang out with him and he's like, can I go to my room now? So,
So have you noticed a difference in him?
he's happy as a clam. He's a little bit bored at certain moments, but he's definitely an introvert, enjoys being at home, enjoys hanging out with me. I think, we had talked about doing a play date. I don't know that we'll do that just based on some of the news and seeing like, and then the other part, yeah, I mean, he's definitely enjoying himself, and he cleaned his own room for a while so that he could have a space at his desk, which is very unusual for him. But we've included chore time in our schedule, but he's going to his dad's today and he decided to leave right before chore time.
Smart kid.
Smart kids. So yeah, so he won't be doing that. We've also been cooking together, which is sort of minimal for him because he can't really chop vegetables, but I'm at least showing him like, here's what it looks like. There's definitely just more time. We're not commuting, so there's more time to spend. From like 5 to 6 is designated as cooking time. So even if it's just like heating up a potato, he's still involved in that.
So what do you anticipate that how this will change your life going forward? Let's say we're doing this for a couple of more weeks. What do you think you would like to take into your future from this experience?
I think I will spend my weekends with Sawyer really differently. Sometimes I'm sort of like, it's a free for all unless there's no form to how we do our weekends. So he probably ends up with more screen time than necessary. So I'll be able to kind of monitor what that looks like based on how he's behaving now. I think the issue of commuting will come back, so he won't be able to be involved in dinner creation as much. So yeah, I think how we spend our time together, getting outside more, especially as the weather warms up. It's tricky because once we go back to normal life, there's a lot of things that could potentially just sort of go back to normal. So we'll see.
Has he spent less time on screen?
He's doing Google Classroom. So technically, like, his academic time is spent on his computer. So I would say like he's potentially on his screens more because of that, but it's academic time. And that doesn't bother me. I think we live in a world where I'm on a screen all the time. I don't think it's the end of the world for our kids to be on the screens if they're doing kind of productive things. Like, he downloaded a book and read it on there. So I think it's about how we're using our screen time rather than if he were sitting there watching movies all day, that'd be a problem, but he's definitely engaging with what's going on and learning at the same time.
So that's what I'm thinking. When you say your free time on the weekend will look different, do you think it will be more interactive time with him or more outside time?
Yeah, I think so. I think will definitely be outside more. I think the interaction that we have right now, a lot of it is sort of like logistical academic time and that kind of thing. So even weekends being more loosey-goosey, like we'll have the opportunity to cook together, walk together. We walked up to his dad's house and back. So there's definitely opportunities to like do more things outside of our own house.
I would think especially with a boy, it's important to have an activity.
I think that's sexist. I don't know. I mean, I think that.
I guess it is, but somehow, like, to me, a girl you can sit down and talk to and bond with just in a conversation.
Lawyer does that too. Like, I think every kid is different, and like I have a friend who spending time with his kids. His son is more like Sawyer, where he will like sit and play with one toy and like turn it around and look at it and investigate, where his daughter is like, jumping off the cliff kind of thing. Like, she has the kind of personality of like wanting to be wild and free, and our boys are more similar. So I think it just depends on the kid, and I think activities are very important. Structure and activities are probably important for every kid. It's just a matter of what kind of activity. For a more active child, I think being outside, running and jumping and doing things like that to get their energy out, whereas some, a quieter kid or a more independent kid would be fine building a Lego set, and that would be engaging enough.
Have you reached out to other parents for support?
I've reached out to everyone for support right now. I'm very lucky that Sawyer is such an easy kid. And so it's not the same, I've had a situation today with someone I work with whose daughter comes up behind her as she's talking and is like saying something in her ear. And this person was able to like continue a conversation. It was pretty incredible, but we're looking as an organization to figure out how we can help parents. I'm with a company that works with parents and babies, so it's definitely like providing some structure for that. But as far as reaching out to other parents, I'm just reaching out to anybody who will chat.
So your idea is to stay connected because that's how you get fed emotionally.
Yeah.
Well, I thank you so much for sharing your tips, and I'm going to put a link to that schedule online. I thought it's probably, even though, like you said, you've adapted it, it's great to have a little skeleton to start from.
Yeah, it definitely is. And we're working on creating something for parents whose kids don't have academic time. So for parents of kids before kindergarten, so like a 0 to 4. So if I create something for that, I'll be sure to share that with you as well.
Thank you so much. And one word of advice to parents at home with their children from a great mom, please give it to me.
Schedule, routine. Yeah, routine. Stick with the routine. That's something that if you're working from home ever, it's important to get up and get dressed. Sawyer every morning comes out in his PJs. I'm like, go get dressed. Like we're doing the day. So this is the new normal, and we have to act like that.
Leah, you've been great. Thank you so much for sharing. If you've got any tips you'd like to share, or if you have any questions, please go to our Facebook page, Daring Parenting, or you can take a look at daringparenting.com and see if we've got any other tips for you there. Thanks so much for listening, and take good care.